The number one reason your diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative is failing is because you didn't have buy-in from the senior management team or the executive team. And because the buy-in wasn't there from the executive team, there's no way to create a trickle-down effect from the leadership perspective. If you're looking to change or correct or adjust this, you must get buy-in from the executive team. Any executive team member that does not display the behaviors that they're expected to have the workforce role model is a bad example for a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. You must have all senior management / executives on board with the diversity, equity, inclusion initiative if you want the workforce to model those same behaviors.
You know why it's likely that managers and other higher ups and people that are above your pay grade are not buying into the DEI initiative? You know why that is? Because they likely realize that in order for their business to not only grow but thrive, they need the top people for the job. That is not what DEI provided. Diversity, equity, inclusion did not provide companies with the best person for the job. They provided companies with different looking people for the job. It was less about how can we get the best possible team in here to work, to be able to implement strategies. It became less about that and more about she's got pink hair, he's got blue hair. Let's hire those guys. So when you have DEI come in and nobody wants to buy into it as far as upper management goes, there's a reason for that. It's because upper management understands what they need in order to get the job done and to be effective and efficient across the board with their job. Let me ask y'all a question. Actually, hold on. I got one more video for y'all to see.
Title with DEI in it, diversity, equity, and inclusion, your days are numbered. You have a target on your back. Dust that resume off now. In case you haven't noticed, some companies are quietly trimming their DEI teams, and other companies are loud with it. According to the Washington Post, the following big corporations have been loud with dismantling their DEI teams: Zoom, Snapchat, Meta, Tesla, DoorDash, Lyft, Home Depot, Wayfair, and X, which used to be Twitter. Somehow, diversity, equity, and inclusion has become weaponized and associated with being woke. Corporate America is now pulling back on their DEI efforts because they feel like it's an increased legal risk for the business, as well as political animosity coming their way. And you know the shareholders can't have that. Additionally, according to the Chronicle of Higher Education, state legislators have introduced 65 anti-DEI bills since 2023. So if you were or are a star performer with great performance reviews, but all of a sudden things are happening, it's not an accident. You're probably in the process of being managed out or will be managed out fairly soon. I talked about the signs in my other videos, but I'll mention again. 1, you will experience increased micromanagement. 2, you will start to see more verbal warnings and coaching. You're going to be loaded up with projects with impossible deadlines. When you don't meet your deliverables because the projects are given impossible deadlines, then you're going to be written up. You're going to be given a written warning. Basically, they're going to start taking you through that 4-step process. 3, it's no surprise that you didn't meet your deliverables. You said something, but now you have an attitude and, your conduct is off-putting and unbecoming and, everything else. Then you're going to go on the PIP. While on the PIP, you're going to be loaded up with more projects, with more impossible deadlines, and you haven't finished the other ones, and then, another coaching, and that's going to be documented, and we're so sorry, we tried to work with you, but it's just not working out. You used to be a star, and we unfortunately they're going to have to sever the relationship. They may offer a severance package, but I don't know, it just depends. But there is an effort to get rid of this DEI. And that's how they're going to do it. Of course, they don't want to be sued.
All right. So it's funny how people get these ideas in their head that they're being hunted, that somebody's after them. Oh no, I got laid off. They came at me. They were picking on me. Listen, I've been laid off before. I've been let go before. It's literally, it can happen to anybody. White, black, brown, blue, navy. It doesn't matter what color you are. It has nothing to do with your color and everything to do with what the job and the company needs. These companies are for themselves. If you don't understand that from a business perspective, then you have no business being involved in that side of the business. If you don't understand that entering into the workforce, that the company is always company first, then you are seriously behind the eight ball. You got to go do some research so that you understand how companies and how money works a little bit better, and how the economy and your social standing and how it applies to that job. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line. That's it. That's all. And that bottom line doesn't care what color you are. I told y'all about the HRs that every Home Depot used to have. They used to have an in-house HR representative for every single Home Depot. They came in one day and said, guess what? We phasing out everybody's job. The only one we're going to have is a district HR. And in a matter of a day, they eliminated hundreds and thousands of jobs across the country. It's not about you're not being attacked because you got let go. It's about X's and O's, ones and twos, zeros and ones. And the funny thing is, Disney was one of the major companies that were heavily involved in the DEI initiative. Now, I want you to go to Google, search up Disney stock, look at the past 5 years of what has happened to that company since they have allowed the D.E.I. initiative to lead them in making decisions with their movies and their products. That company is a disaster. And they were at the top of the mountain at one point. But what happens is when you start to play little games, you start to play DEI games, you start to play these games where you want to hire people just based off of what they say they are in their bio, in their LinkedIn bio, and on their Instagram page. Now you take all of the skill out of the equation. You take all of the necessary requirements out of the equation, and you turn it into, we're going to hire you because you know what? You represent a particular sect or a particular group of people that we like and we want to promote because that stands for DEI. And we want to show the world how we are buying into DEI. Imagine somebody skipping over you, a company skipping over you. And they skip over you because it's not because you're not qualified. In fact, you're more qualified than the person that they actually hired. But they skipped over you because the person they hired had pink hair and she was a gay lesbian woman. How do you feel? That's cool. Let's flip it around. Let's take it from a business perspective and let's put you as at the head of the company, you the boss. It's your company. You spent years building it. You spent years grinding. You spent years building it up. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the legislature comes to you and says, you know what? We recognize that your company is doing some great things, but, I don't know. It just looks like you don't have enough Asians that work here. You don't have enough Mexicans that work here. There's not enough gay representation within your company. There's not enough blacks. So instead of going forward and hiring the people that are going to continue to make your business a success and make sure that your company thrives for the long term in the future, instead of doing that, we want you to bring in people that just look different because it's all about optics. Damn the numbers. We want you to focus on bringing in people that looks like they wouldn't have gotten hired based off their skill They got hired based off of how they look and what they represent and their own personal lives. Imagine you as the boss and how you would approach that situation. Imagine what you would think, knowing how you grinded to get there, knowing how hard you worked to get to the top, knowing how hard you worked to build up your company. And somebody comes to you and tells you, oh, no, we know that you've been hiring based on skills, based on qualifications, and based on their background. But nah, I want you to throw all that out the window. We want you to hire now based on hair color, based on race, and based on what they believe in their personal lives, how they feel about the trans agenda. We want you to hire based on that. You know what you get? You get a bunch of people. You get a bunch of people that's not really qualified for the job. You get a bunch of people that come in, sit in those chairs, and they are taking positions away from the people who are actually qualified to be there and do the job that you want them to do. But now you got to overlook them now so you can appeal to everybody's feelings. Imagine that, right? Imagine hiring somebody based on qualifications and capabilities and talent rather than what they look like and what they identify as. Imagine that. Imagine a world, imagine a company that did that. And y'all mad because they pulling back on a DEI initiative? If you qualify, you qualify. Like I told y'all before, we had black millionaires before DEI. We had black successful companies before DEI. We had black people that were heads of companies before DEI. Black managers before DEI. Black execs before DEI. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. This video is already too long. I didn't expect it to be this long, but when I get to talking, I get to talking. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see you on the next one.